This is what I'm using today. This is the Behr number 9 oil. It says oil redwood stain. Well, it's not oil. Oil latex, actually. That's what it says. This is the stuff. It's still $9.99 a gallon. I went to Home Depot yesterday. I did all my painting, the rest of the painting and the ramp and stuff like that. I did that off camera. And I priced the paint. The paint that I was using, which I got on sale because it was a mistake. Somebody had it mixed and everything, and they didn't like it, brought it back. So it was like, I don't know, I bought it 2 or 3 years ago. That is $37 a gallon. No way. No way, Jose. It doesn't protect the wood anyways. So I might as well use the $10 a gallon, which is the stuff that I use on the shed. And that is what I used on the ramp. Can you see the ramp from here?
Yeah. Now you can.
Okay. Well, that's the stuff I used on the ramp and on the front walkway and on the front steps, which I did not video. So, I'll be damned if I'm going to spend $37 a gallon for stuff that doesn't protect the wood anyways.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't
Really?
have that kind of money to throw around.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I can still get this for $10 a gallon, so why not use it? In the past, I said I wanted to do the top rails in oil base. I do have oil base, but I'm going to take you over and show you what happens when I either use the latex, supposedly better quality latex, with the kind of like a slippery finish when it's wet, does, and it bubbles up. I was going to use boiled linseed oil and sand the whole railings down and put boiled linseed oil on it and then paint it with oil base, but that's not going to happen. It doesn't protect the wood no matter what. The boiled linseed oil will, but I have to wait a couple of weeks before painting over that, and I'm not going to do that. I work between raindrops, as I said. So let me take you over before we get started on the paint. Let me show you over here. Okay, this was an area where it was like bubbled out. You can see underneath here there's paint on it.
Yep.
And there's a lot of layers of paint, but this is all latex, you know. But the latex I used on this is similar to the one I put on the platform, you know, when I did the speed up video. But like I say, that's now $37 a gallon, so I'm buying the $10 a gallon. It doesn't make any difference. It does not protect the wood anyway, so why pay $37?
$10 is the cheapest way to go, actually.
Yeah, you can see. So I ought to outlaw them damn things, honest to God, I hate them. The loud ones. I don't have anything against motorcycles, it's the loud ones. I can't, there's no reason, absolutely no reason for that racket. No reason whatsoever.
Same with loud cars going by.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Thumping.
Yeah,
bass.
that should be outlawed too. Okay, you see this? See?
Peels right off.
So that's, yeah, well, this is the problem I've got. So I would be here all year trying to clean all this off. So I'm just going to just go over this. I'm going to just go over this off camera and clean this. Or we might do a little bit on camera. Okay, so it's the same way with here.
Just peels right off.
Yeah, well that's latex. Ugh, that's your latex junk. This is the stuff that's they claim protects the wood. It does not protect the wood. Water gets in there. I don't care if this wood is sitting here for 6 months without rain on it. As soon as you put that latex on there and it rains, in a few weeks you get bubbling up. Just the way it is. So, I'm going to... Now, there's a little damage here, but that's because I scraped it. I'm just going to go sanding this and grinding it, with the, I should say, with the paint scraper, and just go over this. And then I'm going to use the $10 gallon stuff. I'm just going to put it on there and call it good. There'll come a time where I want to just put some wood on top of this, because overall the wood is good. It's just that the paint is not protecting it. If I was the reason this rail is so old, I built this in 1986. This is the original Douglas fir. The reason it lasted that long is simply because it had cuprinol on it back in those good old days. And that's what kept the wood so good. And of course, after that, when they didn't have it anymore, I had to use the crappy latex. And latex looks good, but it does nothing to protect the wood. As I said so many times, the proof is right here. It's not that bad. It's foolish to try to get it all down because it's mostly pretty good. Over here, not much you can do about it. We just get the stuff that's ready to come off, so that when I paint over it, nothing more is falling off of it. You're never going to get it perfect. It would have to be literally planed down, and I got a hand electric planer, but I'm not using it on this. That's too much work. Not necessary. Folks, now we got to start working. Okay, it wasn't too bad. There's some down at the bottom. Very little, not all that bad. So now I'm going to take some 80 grit, because that's the only thing I have, the heaviest I have, and I'm going to just go over and sand all the way around the rails. So I'll be back. I'll be back. Okay, pretty smooth. I'm going to go over with a finer grit paper just on the top here, so that the paint will stick good. We'll wipe it all down. We'll sweep everything, all the dirt and dust that accumulated. We'll do all that off camera. That's accumulated on the floor and everything else. And then we'll do the light sanding, but we'll do that off camera. The next time you see me, I'll be painting. Okay, I found some bad areas here where the paint was uneven, and so I scraped it good, and got a lot of the latex crap off, including the coating that I put on the other day when I painted this decking. This was pressure treated wood here. This is a 2x10 pressure treated, and it's dry under there. But that's what happens with latex. It does not protect the water. The rain gets through the paint because latex does not protect the wood. I don't care what latex you use. It's got to be oil-based. So what happens, the water gets underneath and the paint just, same way with the rails. So I found this area and an area over here.
Yep, you can see that.
Okay. To be a little bad too, so I scraped that off really hard over through here, and it was fine. It didn't come up. So in the areas where you see this, it's the case of where it was loose. So the way I feel, it doesn't matter whether you pay $10 a gallon, which is what I'm using now, the Bear number 9, $10 a gallon, or whether you spend $37 a gallon. If you're using latex, you're going to have these problems. If you use an oil base, you will not have these problems unless you paint over wet wood. If you paint over wet wood, that's not good. But since I'm using latex, and it hasn't rained in quite a few days, it doesn't make any difference, because latex, as I said, does not protect the wood at all. So all it does is make the wood look good. It makes the deck look good. It covers up a lot of things. Okay, I just wanted to show you that. I scraped everything on the rails and everything. We're all set. So, the only real way you can do this is you'd have to live in a desert climate where it doesn't rain for weeks. Your wood will get a good chance to dry out, and then you can paint it with oil base. Around the Northeast, which is where I'm located, you have to work, as my saying is, between raindrops. If it's dry today and it's going to rain tomorrow, for instance, you paint today. You don't have weeks of dry weather. So there's always that chance that you're painting over wet wood. even though this has a number of coats of latex on it, the wood underneath is probably damp. That's just the way it is. All right, enough of this chatter. I'm going to start painting. I'll mix up the paint, and it will be on the video before you know it.
There's a storm across the valley, clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulder. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away, and the whining of its wheels just makes it colder. He's an hour away from riding on your prayers up in the sky. 10 days on the road are barely gone. There's a fire softly burning, supper's on the stove, and it's the light in your eyes that keeps him warm. And hey, it's good to be back home again. And sometimes this old farm seems like a long-lost friend. And hey, it's good to be back home again. There's all the news to tell him how you spend your time. What's the latest thing the neighbors say? And your mother called last Friday, sunshine made her cry. Felt the baby move just yesterday. And hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm seems like a long-lost friend. And hey, it's good to be back home again. It's the sweetest thing I know of, just spending time with you. It's the little things that make a house a home, like a fire softly burning, supper's on the stove, and it's the light in your eyes that keeps me warm.
All right. This ain't the best paint for coverage. Have to go over it 2 or 3 times because it's very thin. But it's no worse than the best of bare, as far as I'm concerned. Because the proof is on the deck. So now latex is, it may be okay like for house paint and stuff like that. When you're painting on the vertical, that's okay. But when you're painting on the horizontal, in other words, decking and stuff like that, and railings, no. You gotta have oil base. So, I'm just gonna look it over and see if I missed anything. In fact, I know I missed a little piece over here. And that's it. I have the inside of the front porch to do, but I'm not doing that today. So, let me just check this little piece over here. Got a little white area showing here. Matter of fact, I didn't do this.
No, you didn't.
All right, well, let's do it on real time. We don't have to speed it up. I hope you enjoyed the music. And we're getting copyright matches on just about everything we put here now. Not stripes, but matches. Let's see, yeah. So, we're getting our work done. We had beautiful weather, beautiful. You couldn't ask for any better.
Not hot or humid.
We got body work that needs to be done on the van, but tell you the truth, I just don't feel like doing it. And I have to get more Bondo. I have to get more rusty metal primer. I have to get more self-etching primer. The list goes on and on and on. There's going to be a delay on Uncle Dorkel's skit with the surgery. We're going to need the expertise of someone that knows how to do green screen and stuff like that. Because the things I want to do, and every damn time I talk with a damn noisy motorcycle coming. At least he didn't make it too loud. So that's going to have to wait because I want to do it a little more professional-like instead of doing something that a 6-year-old would do, you know. So I would like to be able to do a lot better job on the surgery part of Uncle Dorkel's lower anatomy. I have several things in mind, but I don't have the props, backgrounds and stuff like that to do. And for a short clip, it's not worth going out and buying a whole bunch of things for a one-time skit, which this whole shot would probably be a couple of minutes or so, or maybe 10 minutes. I'm thinking of something with hospital scene in the background using green screen, which as I told you before, neither one of us, Tommy or myself, can do that. It's way beyond us. We tried it. We tried split screen, just can't do it. So it's going to be delayed for now. Let me get up on the top of the deck here, go to the other side. Alright, let's see how we look here. This stuff dries quick, dries to a dull finish, but it's no worse than any of the other Behr products out there for cut protecting wood, because it does not, as I said. But it looks good, it's cheap, and my deck will last just as long with the $10 stuff as the $37 a gallon stuff. All right. Okay, we'll see you down the bottom. One thing about this paint, it comes off my hands very easily. Very easily. The other paint that I was using for the decking, it's also bare, but it's floor and porch paint, flooring paint. It's the stuff that gets slippery when it gets wet, even though it could be dry for weeks. But it's very hard to get off my hands. And this stuff it's like watercolor, as I said. It's not something that I like using, but the way things are going here, I might as well use the cheapest because it does the same job. Plus it dries quick. I mean, less than a half hour, maybe even 15 minutes you can walk on it. Although I don't, I let it go 24 hours. So, anyways, this is going to conclude this project. Get my hammer out to close that out. So that's the story there. I figured we'll do hack bar until we can figure out the operation scene. See, when you start a series of skits, it's almost like a soap opera, which I can't stand.
They're boring.
I don't watch them. My wife does. There's a story to it, and you know, once you start the story, you're committed to complete it. Unfortunately, there was something I thought I could do, nothing to do with video editing or anything. It was something mechanical that I wanted to do in the way the effect was, and I couldn't do it. I can't give it away, so I can't really discuss at this time of what exactly the effect I'm trying to get. But one thing I can say is I need a hospital scene with the machinery around similar to what I did, but rather than to have the actual picture only, I would like to have the doctor as if he was actually in a hospital room. And the only way that could be done is with green screen, and I don't have anything to make a green screen. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. But there's another effect I want to get too. There was a horror movie called The Tingler with Vincent Price. And the effect I want to get, I'm going to end up giving it away, but the effect I wanted to get is the actual, if you remember the scene in The Tingler, and that was one of my favorite movies. I mean, Vincent Price, I really like the old stuff that was in the 50s. There was a scene where there was an operation, the doctor was pulling out the tingler out of the patient's back. And all you saw was a white screen and a shadow, but it was clear, you know, and you can see what it is. Well, that's the effect I want to get, and I could not duplicate that effect. I tried a white sheet of paper with a lot of light behind it, and I had to get right on top of the paper before you could see anything. I tried a white sheet, that didn't work. So I think they must use some kind of special material back then, and no idea what it is, but I'm not about to buy something like that. So what I'm trying to achieve is maybe there's a filter or something that can be put in front of the camera. I don't know. I really don't know. But that's one of the effects I wanted to do, in addition to an actual hospital operating room scene. Not like what I did here with the cardboard and the, that, I don't like that, All right, well, I've given away too much of this. If it becomes too much of a problem, we'll have to write that out of the storyline. And the subject of the tallywhacker will have to end, and he'll have to stop complaining about the shortness of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.